I don't watch much in the way of movies or TV anymore. For the most part, YouTube has replaced Hollywood and syndicated programming in my life. But every now and then, I get the old movie critic itch, and it needs to be scratched. Last night, I watched Europa Report, expecting to find a fun, sci-fi film in the vein of something like Interstellar, but boy was I surprised. Europa Report puts the science back into science fiction.
This really is a new first step for mankind.
I would hope we keep looking for the answers to those really tough questions. Who are we? Where do we come from? And are we alone?
Our craft was heading for a moon of Jupiter, known as Europa.
Yeah, my boy's gonna be 6 when I see him again.
So proud of you.
Oxygen is flowing, we're good.
Commencing egress. Please navigate zone.
I can't believe I'm here. This is incredible.
Compared to the breadth of knowledge yet to be known, what does your life actually matter?
No one at home knows we're alive.
Find a way. We have to.
We got a problem.
It's everywhere! Close it off!
Thought I was trying to do something great for mankind.
First, let me put a few things into context. When searching around for some feedback on Europa Report, 2 words kept jumping out at me: hard sci-fi. If you're not familiar, hard sci-fi is sci-fi that tends to focus more on the technical and realistic aspects of its world. Essentially, it's science fiction that is theoretically actually possible. A good example would be something like the classic 2001: A Space Odyssey. Or Moon from 2009.
Good morning, Sam. Do you want me to cut your hair then?
Lunar Industries remains the #1 provider of clean energy worldwide due to the hard work of people like you.
Now, most people tend not to like hard science fiction. It's usually slow-moving, and it lacks the flash and pizzazz of something like, say, Star Wars or Guardians of the Galaxy. That being said, I love hard sci-fi. Since I'm excited by real-world space travel, a film that does its damnedest to emulate that is right up my alley, and therefore, so was Europa Report. So what's the plot of this movie? Well, the title has a few subtle hints. It's a film told in an epistolary format, through video logs and interviews with other people involved. It concerns the mission of Europa 1, a private space venture to send 6 astronauts to the surface of Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. Their goal is to use a variety of instruments to both explore beneath Europa's deep layers of ice and search for evidence of organic life. The film is also non-linear. It begins 22 months into Europa 1's voyage, with one of its crew members mysteriously missing, and jumps around in order to fill the gaps until about 2/3 of the way through its length. To start off with, I love this movie. I was grabbed from the opening moments when I realized that every camera angle was going to be one of those mounted on the spacecraft. The craft itself is beautiful. A modular vehicle not too distinctly different from current spacecraft, like the International Space Station. It has a rotating section, providing the crew with gravity, which is a real science concept developed in the 1970s. Everything about the movie, right off the bat, felt real. The ship was theoretically possible, the crew were unremarkable and realistic characters, the cinematography was bland, like watching a real report might be. There was no faster-than-light travel, no laser guns, and no wacky aliens. What, does that sound boring? You kidding me? That sounds great.
Pitch maneuver.
We are clear of Jupiter's orbit. Beginning orbital transfer.
Pitching for power descent.
This movie does a lot of things right. The cameras are placed in a mostly realistic way, but still allow for spectacular views that look like they could be NASA footage from the future. A few of them are a little silly, like this one that is almost entirely obscured by whoever is sitting in front of it, but I can forgive it, especially when at a particular point in the plot, an accident causes one of the cameras to shift with a pair of nuts and bolts directly in the foreground. The movie doesn't take the opportunity to give us a better view. It stays focused on the bolts while the characters remain blurry in the background. Realism. Love it. Additionally, I love the plot. Europa truly is an interesting moon, and actually does have liquid water beneath its icy surface, or so we think. It has long been the dream of astronomers to send a probe that could drill underneath the ice and explore the oceans underneath. It was really wonderful to see a simulated Europa up close, and God, it looks great.
I can't believe I'm here.
I'm not sure how it was pulled off. I suspect artwork and miniatures were used because there were no wide shots of characters standing on its surface. Overall, the budget for this film seems pretty low. There was only one primary set, 6 primary characters, and no special effects extravaganzas to soak up money. But what it has, it uses exceptionally well. My only special effects gripe is one scene, involving an EVA outside the spaceship. Look at this. Look at those crappy CGI astronauts. What is this, Moonbase Alpha?
When small suck for man, when giant suck for mankind.
That's pretty funny.
Does Europa Report do anything wrong? One or two things aside from the CGI astronauts. I will admit that the plot was a little predictable. The missing crew member was mysterious to start with, but as soon as the key scene started, I knew it had, and I knew where it was going. I will admit I did not see the final 5 minutes of the movie coming, and that gave me a very pleasant surprise. I won't spoil anything, but don't worry, I will say that the slow burn is worth it for that final reveal. Overall, Europa Report is a really damn good film. It doesn't hold your hand, it's chock full of real science, and gives you one hell of a warm feeling when the credits roll. If you love space and space science, I definitely advise checking it out. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you like this video, like it. If you want to see more, please subscribe to my channel, which is Dead Kennedy in Space. Thank you, and I'm out.
Over the next hill, beyond the horizon.
Find your place in space. Space is vast and unexplored. There's a lot of work to do.